Hello everyone! Welcome back to this week's episode of your Manifesting Bestie podcast, season 5. I'm your host Flora and we are diving into all things mindset and manifestation like we always do. And on today's episode, I wanted to give you guys more tangible application methods that you can follow in your manifestation journey, in your journey of slaying your desires, right? Going after your goals, receiving your big, unbelievable manifestations at the speed of light without you waiting another 10 years to get the things that you want. Not even 10 years, not even a year, okay? Because what we want to understand in manifestation is the concept of time. And the concept of time is where everyone fucks up. So this is where people get their minds in a bunch, okay? They get their panties in a bunch, actually. They get upset over things. They get frustrated. They get anxious. It's because of the concept of time. Time is misunderstood. Time is taught in a very linear structure. You get from point A to point Z. You're currently here, and you want to be all the way out here. What do you have to do in between that time frame to get to that end desire? That is how it's taught normally, that linear way. But what we want to really understand about time, this is when it gets confusing. It confuses me too. So I want to break this down in a way where we can apply this to help speed up what feels like waiting, right? Filling that void with certainty. And understanding how things are actually working in the quantum field. Because remember, everything is happening now. So all timelines are happening now. All versions of you are existing now. All desires and lack thereof are present in the now. But it's hard to grasp that when we still look at time in a linear way. So I'd rather you look at time as a spider web, with a bunch of these intersections, a bunch of connecting areas that we can land on, all happening in the quantum in the present moment, because the only thing that exists is the present moment. So tomorrow when you're awake, all that you will be experiencing is the present moment. Yesterday when you were awake, all that you were experiencing then was the present moment. And the only thing you can experience right now is the present moment. All that there is happening now. But it depends on what you are tuned into now, right? What channel you are emitting, what frequency you're emitting from your body and your mind, because you are a conduit of electricity aligning with certain frequencies. So in the present moment, who are you being? And how can we transport you to the timeline that you wish to be on? That's really what I would like to discuss today, because it messes up everybody. It messes up myself as well, because it's so hard for our masculine minds, our logical minds, to grasp this concept, right? Because at some point I was a baby, and in time I developed into a teenager, and then in time I developed into an adult, and in time, right? So we are seeing that there are all these different timelines, but we have experienced it in such a linear way that we are stuck on that concept as the only truth. But the truth of the matter is everything is happening right now. So all those millions of different versions of you, they're happening right now. I'm not even going to get into the concept of time travel. I've gone down the whole conspiracy route of time travel, and I've come to the conclusion that it's actually real. I just cannot prove it. I cannot explain it, and I'm not even going to get into the concept of time travel. But what I am going to get into the concept of is you quantum leaping now. But in order for us to do that, we have to understand what's actually getting in our way. Okay, so I'm going to take you guys through a verbal exercise right now. And whether you're in your car, driving around, listening to me, you're on your hot girl walk listening to me, we're going to do this exercise together. And someone broke this down so clearly and so eloquently, and I was like, oh, this makes so much sense. So let's say you have your really big desire. This could be your desire for marriage. This could be your desire for $100 million business. This could be your desire for a huge online brand. This could be your desire for your big dream home, okay? These things that just feel kind of far-fetched, kind of out of current terms of our reality, right? So beyond the borders of what our minds can currently comprehend because of the specific feedback we have picked up on in this current timeline, although there are infinite versions of us happening in the now. So let's think of that one big goal that you have. If I told you that you can have that big goal in 10 years, what feeling comes up? Is it certainty or do you question it, right? So if you can have your big desire in 10 years, you're going to have a feeling of certainty. Of course, I can receive that in the next 10 years. Duh, that's such a long time. Remember this, it's a long time. Of course I can have it. It's such a long time. Yes, I can experience it. You have an emotion of certainty. Feel what that feels like for your specific goal. Duh, right? It's a duh. Of course I can have it. I can do anything in the next 10 years. I'm limitless, right? We have this feeling of certainty around it. Like, yes, I'm gonna have it. It's meant to be for me. We don't know what the next 10 years will hold for us, but we are certain. We are certain about that big goal. What if I asked you that same question about your big goal, but in the next 5 years? Can you have that big goal in the next 5 years? I'm going to assume you're going to say yes with certainty. Yes, of course I can accomplish that or receive that or materialize that in the next 5 years. Duh, that is such a long time. So much can happen. The unknown can occur in the next 5 years. Yes, I am certain. So you say yes to that goal with pure faith, blind faith, certainty. There's no questioning the outcome, right? What if I asked you if you can accomplish that in the next 2 years? We went from 10 to 5 to 2. Can you accomplish that goal, receive that manifestation, materialize that desire, okay, that big, delicious, juicy outcome in the next 2 years? Depending on what the goal is, you're going to say yes with certainty. Maybe I'll meet the love of my life in the next 2 years. Yes. Maybe I'll hit $1 million in the next 2 years. Yes. Maybe I will build an undeniable brand in the next 2 years. Yes, with certainty. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, can I buy my dream house in the next 2 years? Yes. Who's to say no? Who's to say no? So much can happen in the next 2 years, right? So much can happen. What if I asked you that same question about the next year? The next 12 months. Can you materialize that manifestation in the next 12 months? People get a little bit stuck. They get a little choked up here. In the next year, I'm so far. I'm so far from that goal. What if I asked you in the next 6 months? What about in the next six months? Could you materialize that big, juicy, delicious desire in the next 6 months? Now people are going to start to say no. 6 months? Christmas is almost here, right? The holidays are almost here. I don't know. That's so close. And then that only feels like a few weeks, honestly. 6 months. They start to doubt the concept of the quantum field being able to materialize any physical goal into the present moment in that 6 month time span, because their opinion, their belief currently about time, right, is that things move very slow for me. Things take such a long time to materialize that I think 6 months is not going to cut it for me. So they immediately limit the unknown, the beautiful unknown, all the incredible possibilities that can come to fruition in the next 6 months, because every single day that you wake up, you're actually going to step into the unknown if you choose to show up as a different person and not operate from the same set of beliefs and the same action plans that you have been running on, right? The software and the hardware that you have been operating on, your mind and your body, the coherence that we operate on. You can change it at the drop of a dime and have a brand new outcome in your life, but people are so stuck on the time frame that they limit the desire from materializing because they always think they need more time. So this concept of time, if you guys are following me here, it's limiting our perception of how quickly things can unfold. The speed or the rate at which something can unfold for me is where my limit begins. So our limit is not the desire itself. It's not the millions of dollars. It's not the beautiful relationship. It's not the big dream house. It's not moving to my dream city. It's not having the right friendships. That's not even the problem. Because when I asked you if you can have it in 10 years, you said yes. And when I asked you if you can have it in 5 years, you also said yes. So you believe you can have it. So where do we get stuck? Where is the bottleneck? Where is the blockage? It's the time span. And then since we have that blockage of, well, I don't think I can do it in 6 months, or I don't think I can do it in the next year, right? It's too short of a time. We become limited to that focus of everything being too quick, too short, that all we can focus on is the lack of it materializing. So although I initially said I could have it, although I initially believed that I could materialize it in this time frame and this time frame and this time frame, when I asked you if you can do it in the next year or in the next 6 months, and the answer was no, or you started questioning yourself, you started doubting yourself, it's not the concept of can I have it or not, because you initially did believe that you can have it. It's the fact that you're hung up on how long it's going to take. You're hung up on the time frame that it can never materialize, because you're always living in the time frame of the present moment, and in the present moment you're telling yourself you can't have it yet. You don't have the certainty. You're not living in the identity of, yeah, it can show up any moment. You're living in the identity of, well, in the next 6 months it's going to take a really long time, and I have to work really, really hard to get there, and I need to put myself out there more, and I need to do this, and I'm not there yet, and I'm still really shy, and this. We are now restricting that certainty that we had initially. We're like, yes, of course we can have it, to all the reasons why we believe we can't. All the limits we have placed upon ourselves because of time frames, because of a linear timeline that is currently blocking us from getting to where we want to go, because we are so hung up on the fact that in the present moment we don't yet have it, and we have all these limits in our character, in our actions, in our mindset, in our emotions, in our belief system, in the lack of proof in our reality, in all the naysayers or all the negative opinions that we have around us of why we can't have it. We're stuck on that, even though in the initial question you told me, yes, I can have it in the next 10 years. So you believe you can. The belief is there. You can have it. And I want you to walk with the certainty of me asking you that question. If you can have that big desire in the next 10 years, I want you to walk with that certainty when you say, yes, of course I can have it, in the present moment, so that you can start to collapse this false structure of time. Because it's the one thing of our bottleneck of our manifestations, that blockage. It's where dreams go to die. Time. I'm running out of time. I'm too old. I even had someone ask me, she was 48 years old. She's one of my clients on the membership. Am I too old to start my own business? I said, girl, what? Are you joking? Do you know what you can build in the next year? Right? In her mind, she's running out of time at 48 years old. I'm like, you just made it to the halfway mark. What do you mean? What are you talking about? You have plenty of time to live out your passion, live out your craft, live out your dreams, set the whole fucking world on fire with your brilliant plan. You're never out of time. But the more that we focus on time, not only are we aging ourselves physically down to a cellular level, because all we focus on is birthdays, right? That's a whole ritual of you aging. There was a reason why Prince stopped celebrating his birthday, and if you see how he looked physically, non-aging, literally, like non-aging at all. He said, to hell with birthdays. Why am I gonna blow out candles and do a whole ritual of me getting older and older and older when I want to claim my youth? So there are people who can totally combat the concept of time by just changing their perception of it, and stop viewing it from a linear perspective to everything is happening for me right now, in the present moment. So we just went from understanding that our limit is not the desire itself. It's not that we feel we're not deserving, we can't have it. It's that we believe time is against us receiving it. We believe time is against us for it to actually materialize in this lifetime. That in itself is the graveyard of our dreams. That's where dreams go to die. The concept of time. So what if we can remove this bottleneck, this blockage? What if we peeled it off of our brain and we realized and we looked around, all I have is the now. This is it. I've been gifted with this. What am I going to do with it? What am I going to do with the now? Am I going to say I'll start on Monday? That's not living in the now. Am I going to say I'll start next month on the 1st? That's not living in the now. Am I going to say I'll start after the holiday season is over? When I get it together? That's not living in the now. What am I going to say? Am I going to say maybe when I get in shape, I'll get started on my big goals? That's not living in the now. That's not what creates safety in your body to actually morph into the being you want to become. None of that is living in the now. How many of us do that? Or I'll get better at this. You know what? Tomorrow morning when I wake up, how many of us have said that? I used to be the queen of tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning when I wake up, the person I will be then. But what about now? All I have is the now. This concept of time is fucking with us. It's destroying us. All I have is now. So what can I do now to be who I wish to become? Without waiting another second of the day. I can collapse timelines. I can collapse the false infrastructure because it's like we're under a spell. And we're always waiting. We're always waiting. I'll do it then. I'll do it then. I'll feel better then. Right? We all have this. I notice this in myself and I'm like, why am I self-sabotaging? Because I believe I can have it in 10 years and then I believe I can have it in 5 years. But when it comes to the next 12 months, 6 months, I freeze. My nervous system freezes. Why is my nervous system freezing? Why can't I say yes? Because the moment I say yes and I make that decision, you know what, I can have it in the next 6 months. I start to move like a different human being with a different spirit. I am resurrected in the mind. I'm reborn. Because I just collapsed the idea of time restrictions, of limits. That's really what time is. It's a limit. Why do we use time? Because we need to know when we need to get somewhere. So we put a restriction around that specific time, right? I have a doctor's appointment Wednesday at 11:30. I have restricted myself to paying attention to that specific time frame so I can be there when they expect me to be there. But outside of that, why do we restrict ourselves with time frames when everything is happening now? Now, and then now, and then now. And tomorrow will still be now. So let me get it together now, in the present moment. Not next Monday, not next month, okay? Not tomorrow morning. But who am I choosing to be in this present tense of now? I need to be the version of myself who says, yes, I can have it in the next 6 months. Even though it feels terrifying. Because that is when the nervous system recalibrates to your new decision. That is when the subconscious says, oh, I feel the resistance, but okay, I'm listening. I'll lean into this. It's something new. Maybe I'll rewire it quicker. Different action steps, right? So if we want to start saying, yes, I can have that now, we can start creating shortcuts. Because the old linear structure told us that things take time and they're slow to move. But what that does is it just manifests more time, more waiting, longer periods of the void where nothing is really happening, nothing is unfolding. That's why we made that episode called The Void. That's why I made that episode called Method Acting. So we can start collapsing time and space. But when I talk to a lot of my clients around their manifestation goals, they do believe they can have it. They're like, Flora, I know I'm worthy of this. I can even see it happening. I can see it unfolding. I visualize it. I feel like it's destined for me. So it's not that there's a lack of belief of you deserving what you want or receiving what you want or being worthy of all the things on your heart. It's the fact that you believe you are limited to a specific timeline. And that timeline that you have a belief in and faith in is working against you. So that's the issue. It's not the desire. You can have the desire. You already said, you told yourself you can have it in the next 10 years. So it's not the fact that you don't think you can have it or that you need to work on the belief of having it or deserving it. You already have placed your faith in that, which is amazing. Your current bottleneck, your current blockage, that limit in your mind and your brain is the false idea of time. That's it. That's it. So if we're looking at the quantum field as like this giant layered cake, all these layers, all these different timelines happening in the present moment. You know when you slice open a cake and there's like all these juicy layers, there's the cake layer and then the frosting and then there's that little fruit layer, like fruit jelly layer. Oh my God, I love that part of the cake. And then there's another layer of bread and then another layer of icing and then it just goes and goes and all these different colors, all these different, but it's all in the present, all in the same timeline, the same sheet of cake right there in front of you. If I'm at the very bottom of that cake and I want to quantum leap to the top of that cake, I need to smush that timeline, smush the cake right in front of me so that I can collapse these timelines and get to where I need to go. That's why I need to look at everything in the present moment happening as, oh, I can just teleport to that new desire. I can just jump on top of that cake, collapse all timelines that I believe are getting in my way, that I believe are my obstacles, all the things that I believe are my resistance or my blockages. It's really just the fact that I think that that is going to happen later rather than me just embodying it happening now. So I can shift it now. And the more that I show up as her now, in the present and in the present and in the, because every moment is the present moment. The more that I show up as her now and I find ways to be her now, I find ways to believe in it now. I find ways to convince my subconscious mind that it is happening now. I tap into the feeling, the emotions of receiving it now. I'm just collapsing that timeline and then collapsing that timeline. And then that layered cake just gets shorter and shorter and shorter. And it just shrinks until I am exactly where I need to be. And I have seen people do this in a completely nonsensical way where it doesn't make sense how quickly they're moving in life. It doesn't make sense how quickly they're making money. It doesn't make sense how quickly they met the love of their life in a few weeks. It doesn't make sense how quickly their body is shedding weight. It doesn't make sense how quickly they get the cleared diagnosis from their doctor who told them that their illness is incurable. It doesn't make sense. The logical mind can't grab, like she doesn't know how to wrap her mind around these concepts because that's not what she was taught. So our logical mind is collecting feedback of how things have happened so that we can base our next steps off of what has happened in the past. And we need to turn the logic off. Has anyone ever told you to stop being so logical? Probably not, but I'm here to tell you to turn the logic off for a second because manifestation is illogical. It doesn't make sense in the masculine mind. It's not how reality creation has been taught to us. Because if we're going based off of the feedback of our five senses, then we are the people who are like, I need to see it in order to believe it. But that is what destroys your desire from coming to fruition. You need to believe it now. It's here now. Not that you can have it later. But you need to believe in it now, receiving it now, that anything can happen now, that the unknown is where the magic happens in the now. Then you can receive it. Then you will see it unfold. So the belief has to become before seeing it and experiencing it. You experience it energetically first by changing the assumption that you can have it in present tense despite your current limitations. You know, all those things that you claim to be your obstacles. Well, I'm not good enough yet. I'm not smart enough yet. I don't have the accolades yet. I don't have people who follow me yet. I'm not pretty enough yet. I haven't lost the weight yet. I'm all the limits that you are convincing yourself are the blockages of why you cannot have the things or why they're not unfolding just yet or why you're always quote unquote stuck. You're not stuck. You're convinced you're stuck on a time loop, which is actually manifesting a time loop of the same day happening in repeat. So we want to pull you out of there. I want to yank you out of that time loop and remind you that the only thing we have is the present moment. And the way that I know that this is true, the way that I've proven this to myself, this might not happen to some of you, but this has happened to me so many times. I get deja vu. I don't really know what this phenomenon is, where I can like explain it clearly of what's happening to me, but I have had deja vu so many times of such important outcomes, where I'm sitting somewhere and I just got really good news. Or I'm sitting somewhere admiring my surroundings of like, wow, I made it this far. Or I'm sitting somewhere and I get a really good phone call. Or even I see a specific leaf fall from a tree and it lands in the pool a certain way and it causes a certain ripple. And I remember a certain emotion I had when I saw that. And I was like, I've already experienced this. I've already lived this out. Am I experiencing this again? Or was it a different timeline? A different version of me seeing that same thing happen and she called me in. And now I've quantum leaped and I've had the deja vu happen again and again and again and again and again. And sometimes I have it in my dream and I'm like, I understand this concept of time. Everything, all of it is happening now. So of course we have remembrance of deja vu and other mystical experiences. I've had people tell me, Flora, I had a dream of my manifestation coming in and a week later it showed up. And she was like, I swear when I first saw it in my dream, it was like a future version of myself already congratulating me that it's occurred. And I'm over here stressing and stressing and stressing and stressing about, is it gonna come? Am I good enough for it to show up? Is this the time for it yet? All I had to do was release that resistance and claim it, and then it showed up. And I was like, that's like the feeling of deja vu. Like I've already lived this. I've already seen it unfold. Have you guys had these experiences? I have them so often. And I'm like, am I visualizing myself living out my dreams from a higher perspective and there's all these different versions of me in a quantum timeline experiencing the same outcomes but from different perspectives? I don't exactly know how to piece deja vu together. If someone has a better explanation that they can give me, I would love to hear your perspective on it. But I'm a firm believer that all realities are happening for us now, in this present tense, in today. And the quicker we can ease up, right? The quicker I can release intentionally my own resistance against time, against my own blockages, the quicker I will experience what I actually want to receive. And I invite you to find ways to start easing your resistance around time. Because that anxiety is the worst anxiety. It kills your dreams and it kills your experience in the present moment. And the present moment is asking you to be present, to enjoy present tense. Enjoy the surroundings that you have currently. Enjoy the car that you are driving currently and the scene that you are looking at currently. Enjoy the people that surround you currently. Enjoy the obstacles and the experiences that you're facing currently, because there's a lesson in there. Enjoy the present moment. Soak it in. Get buried into the present. Ground yourself into the present, because you're always worried about why it can't happen, that you miss the present, which is where the unknown is, which is where magic can happen if you just pay attention. If you can just immerse yourself in the present moment, because that's the only thing that actually exists. So let go of tomorrow, let go of next week, let go of next month, let go of next year, let go of yesterday. You are here in the present as you're listening to this. How can I enjoy it more? Because that's what the future version of you, who has all the things, would be doing anyway. Enjoying her present life. These precious moments in front of us that we just take for, not even take for granted, we just glide through each moment. Because we're always waiting and feeling like, oh, but something's still in the way. I can't be happy yet. Something's still in the way. You're being called to be present. That is where the resistance leaves. That is when timelines crumble. That is when you quantum leap. That is where the shift occurs. That is when worry and anxiety leave your physical body. Is when you can become present and let go just for a smidgen of time. Maybe you do this after work. Maybe you do this when you're alone in your shower and the kids are asleep. When you have a little bit of time to yourself, get immersed into the present moment where you can just stop worrying about time. Because time is like a spell that has been put upon us. And we forget that we are quantum beings living in a quantum reality where infinite things are occurring at the same time. We're just so stuck on how and when that we create our own obstacles that were not meant to be there. We're supposed to be in this feeling of celebrating life, celebrating the present, enjoying it, the delicious opportunities that live in the unknown, but we don't. We skip over the unknown. We skip over the magic. We always go into the predictable, foreseeable future because of the concept of time. And I understand that this theory is like, it's almost annoying to listen to, because you're like, well, how am I supposed to do that, Flora? I have to be up at this time. I have to go to work at this time. I have to take the kids at this time. I have an appointment at this time. I have to hit the gym by this time. And then I got to do it all again tomorrow and I'm exhausted. So I get it. This is not a theory that we can absorb and instantly apply. I get that. I struggle with the theory as well. But I notice the more I can lean into it in those moments of just quietness, where I have a little bit of time to myself, maybe where I'm just observing nature, or maybe you're getting a tan in your backyard or at the pool, just any time where you have a little bit of time, immerse yourself in the present where you can let go of when everything is gonna unfold. When is it gonna happen and why isn't it here yet? Get grounded into the present moment, because the version of you who has all her wishes and all her dreams and all her desires already in fruition, already materialized in her life, she is the individual who's enjoying the fuck out of the present moment. She's just enjoying it. Just living in it, immersing herself in the experience with all of her 5 senses. When was the last time you did that, right? It's like, damn, I don't do that much. I'm always on, okay, what's next? And then what's next? And then what's next? That like we create these long timelines of when things can happen for us. Because all we think from is the masculine, logical mind, but we have to understand manifestation isn't logical. It's not. It's shifting in and out of realities that we don't exactly notice when it's happening, but it's always happening. So start making different decisions in the present moment and stop telling yourself, I'm going to do this then, and then when I'm ready, and then I'll do it on Monday and then next month. Because those ideas, those beliefs, and those verbal promises we make to the future time are actually what creates more manifestation of time, longer periods of waiting to get the things that we want. So I want you to start thinking from the now. Who can I be now? How can I show up now? How can I fill the void now? How can I act like her now? How can I feel like her now? How can I enjoy the now? Like if I was the person who loved her life, how would I act now? How would I seize the day? How would I, you know that expression, seize the day, seize the moment, right? How can I do that now? How can I make the most of what currently is? That feels good, that feels exciting, that feels thrilling, where I literally collapse the concept of time. Because I'm so present, I'm grounded, I'm here. I feel things, I see things, I enjoy things. I'm not allowing each moment to just pass by because I'm in this idea that I'm still waiting. And it's still not good enough yet. And I'm still not good enough. I'm still unworthy. I have to shed this. I have to shed it like a skin that's no longer part of me. I have to detach from these concepts that were put upon me through society, through whomever. This is just how we structure our life, is through this linear spell of time. But if we can pull away at that concept and realize all that there ever was the present, we can accomplish things so much quicker. It almost feels like the material world can just shift right before our eyes. because everything is vibrating, right? Everything that is material and matter is vibrating at a certain speed, just like conscious thought is vibrating at a certain speed. So is the physical material world. So are your emotions. Everything is vibrating. Molecules are vibrating. Your cells are vibrating. So if everything is already moving, I just need to maybe move things a little bit faster. Then I can do that by getting so present in the now, behaving like the different individual I want to be now, not waiting for another day to be her, to live like her, to make decisions like her, to feel like her, to walk like her, talk like her, dress like her, show up like her, project my voice like her. I can just do it now. And the quicker that I shed this, the quicker timelines collapse. The quicker the old reality crumbles in front of me. And yes, you will go through the discomfort of the quantum crumble, but remember, pressure makes diamonds. You have to go through the pressure cooker. Things start to move quick. You're like, oh my God, I lost my job. Oh my God, I totaled my car. Oh my God, this person broke up with me. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I'm manifesting all these big changes and my life is going to shit. It's because everything is moving quicker now. The crumble is happening quickly. Things are clearing out quickly so we can make space for the things that you actually want, the things that you are totally in alignment with in your heart. Because you're no longer focusing on time. You're focusing on who you want to become and realizing there is no disconnect, no distance between you and her anymore. There's no separation. The illusion of separation has been removed from your view. The filter is gone. There's no more illusion. There's no separation. There is just now. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this week's episode of your Manifesting Bestie podcast. I hope this has been a little bit of, I know it could be difficult to apply. Like I mentioned, I'm still finding ways to apply this in my own life. But the truth of the matter is we just need to become more present. We need to find the power of now, right? There's that book by Eckhart Tolle, and it's such a beautiful way to live. It eases resistance around everything. It helps your nervous system recover. It submerges the subconscious in joy and pleasure and authenticity in the present. And the more that we can live life like this, the more that we get to live life by design. So I will see you guys again next Wednesday for a brand new episode of your Manifesting Bestie podcast.